Barrio Gótico is the Gothic quarter in the historic center of the old city of Barcelona. Where the original Gothic refers to the architectural style that lasted from the mid-12th till the 16th century, it even got its revival in the 18th century. Initially, the building style was particularly used for cathedrals, but in the end, the style found its way to the wealthy patricians from the industrial era and was used in formal buildings of the time. Later, however, the term Gothic got a slightly different meaning, especially in literature and movies, where it still is used to describe something that is characterized by mystery, horror, and gloom. Question is, can we find that type of dark and sinister Gothic in Gotico? Let's take a closer look and see what we can find. Let's try some antique dealers first. Well, this looks pretty scary to me, but it is not real Gothic, right? Could this be something? Those are scary drawings. And it says, "This must be the place." Let's go find out inside. No, not really. It was an interesting shop though. Now this is more what we are looking for. Halloween stuff, but without the plastic. Let's try something different. Here is a shopping center that dates from 1943. That is basically in the middle of World War II and right after the Spanish Civil War. That itself is pretty scary. To be honest, I was tipped to check this place out because it is known for its scary shops in the Halloween/Gothic niche. I guess this is the first one. It has the right scare level and a pretty decent footprint too. Let's move on and see if we can find other similar shops, as I was told. Here's another one, a bit more steampunk vibe, but still enough scary Gothic and Halloween stuff. If this is your vibe, this shop has really cool items. And here's a third one. And another one, the fourth. And this one is more themed like the Mexican Day of the Dead. And here's the last shop in the fantasy theme. This one has a more medieval meets Harry Potter vibe, with swords and wands and beautiful outfits. I counted a total of 6 shops. And one of the entrances of the shopping center is right opposite of this Gothic basilica, in case you want to check it out for yourself. It is the Basilica of Santa Maria del Pi that dates from the 15th century, and let's see if this building holds a mystery itself. And the answer is clearly yes. Until December, you can visit here an exhibition about the man in the Holy Shroud. It is a story that has played a decisive role in the representation of Jesus. So if you are interested in this type of cultural history, it is definitely worth checking it out. I, on the other hand, wanted to explore the Gotico neighborhood in search for that authentic Gothic Halloween vibe, if it is there at all. I can imagine that the layout and the age of the neighborhood can produce a level of suspense in that direction. But I think that feeling will be stronger when the sun is fully set. This, however, won't take very long from now. Meanwhile, let's discover the maze of narrow streets and alleys that the area is famous for, and dive into the labyrinth of Gothico to find a beautiful backdrop for a suspenseful Gothic Halloween story, or perhaps even a movie. Here we cross Carrer de la Boqueria, a narrow shopping passage in the heart of Gotico. Let's move on towards Plaza Real, another unique landmark in Gotico, and try to see it when the sun slowly sets.
Andiamo alla piazzetta.
I can already see and hear the noises of Plaza Real in the distance. This square has a typical old-world Cuba vibe to it. Back to the Halloween theme. This looks like a spooky old-world pharmacy. And according to my information, the sun should set about now and darkness will fall over Plaza Real, except of course for the beautiful lighting. Plaza Real is definitely worth visiting all year around, and the easier way to find it is to take the entry from the famous Ramblas side. In the corner of the square, you can find a dark passageway that is not always open to the public. Today, however, I was lucky. With a last look at Plaza Real, we continue our search for authentic Gothic details. You know, those elements that are part of that typical Gothic subculture that we know from goth rock, Gothic literature, Victorian and medieval history, and contemporary horror cinematography. And I think I may know a place that fits this description. Here we enter the square of the Duke of Medinaceli. This plaza is located on a terrain formerly part of a 13th century convent. It is named after the 16th century nobleman Louis de Cerda y de la Vega, Count of Medinaceli, who gave away the terrain to the Franciscan monks. The square is famously featured in a scene of Pedro Almodóvar's film Todo sobre mi madre, featuring Penelope Cruz, among others. Leaving this square to move only 50 meters north, where we will find another square called Plaza de la Mercè. This square is headed by a late Renaissance-style basilica with a beautiful Baroque-style interior. The timeless beauty of the architecture still inspires contemporary artists and painters to reproduce its beauty. The basilica has a dome that is crowned with a large statue of Our Lady that is clearly visible from the harbor side of Barcelona. Let's keep looking for interesting finds, ideally with a spooky twist. Walking through the maze of alleys, I start to realize that Gothico has indeed a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character. I believe the later it gets, the scarier it becomes. To give you a bit more background information on the Gothic Quarter, despite its name, many of the iconic landmark Gothic buildings aren't actually medieval. In fact, this neighborhood was transformed through a major restoration project in the previous century, designed to reshape it from a quiet, somewhat neglected area into a lively destination for both locals and tourists. This ambitious project was timed to be completed before the 1929 International Exhibition, which brought global attention to Barcelona. This restoration continued for decades, with new neo-Gothic structures added well into the 1960s, blending authentic medieval elements with more recent interpretations of Gothic architecture. Over time, the quarter's religious roots gave way to a broader cultural role, attracting artists, galleries, and unique alternative shops that add to its charm today. As you walk through these historic streets, you'll find a mix of old and new, each element contributing to the distinct character of the Gothic Quarter. Looking at Barcelona's Gothic Quarter through the lens of the Gothic subculture, while setting aside the historical landmarks, it still ticks all the boxes. The quarter feels dark and twisted like a labyrinth, with its narrow alleys and eerie, intriguing details etched into stone walls and hidden corners. Imagine it after midnight on a rainy night, shadows stretching along cobbled paths. It's the kind of place you might not want to find yourself alone, where every echo seems to carry a hint of mystery and the unknown. It is an area where every window and every detail has a story, and some of them aren't told yet. Moving on into the neighborhood, let's find some older, more medieval parts to explore. Let's step away from the main roads for a minute and see just how narrow these alleys truly become. Take a look at those aged stone walls and the antique streetlights casting a soft glow. They bring a timeless, almost hidden charm to these winding roads. Did the Gothic Quarter, or Barri Gòtic, live up to its legendary charm and mystique? For me, it absolutely did, with its labyrinthine alleys, shadowed stone walls, and touches of both history and mystery at every turn. But what about you? Did it meet your expectations, or perhaps surprise you in a new way? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share your impressions in the comments below. Let's see how this fascinating neighborhood resonated with each of us.